Thank you very much. Let me recognize my, my colleague, Honorable Isaac, who is the newest minister in the government, and also the president of the State College, Dr. Peters, Dr. Esprit, Dr. Lambert, who is the chairman of the board of directors, and of course our dear PS, who works very hard. I must tell you, I don't give people marks easily, you know. But she's trying and trying very hard. Of course, the faculty and staff and students of the State College. For me, visiting the State College is always a nostalgic feeling. Because I was a student here myself back in the days of the CIFOCOR. And I also taught here as a lecturer. And one of the things that always, that I always remember is that I was assigned, along with another lecturer, Dr. Simon, who is now deceased, the responsibility to register students, first-year students, into the college. But we started off registering students knowing the maximum number of students we would accept in a given year. And it was really on a first-come basis, and sometimes if you know somebody who knows somebody. And I saw, during my time here, a number of bright young Dominicans, many of whom came from challenging financial, economic backgrounds. Children of fishermen and children of farmers, subsistence farmers. And what I would do every year, I would register more students than the principal told me. And I would not tell him about that until a month after school commenced. Because I could not accept going home knowing that the students sat the CXAs, studied hard, and passed, and were told, well, there's no space. And as fate would have it, it was not long after I became the Minister for Education. And the first matter I embarked upon was the creation of the State College. To consolidate all the colleges, and Dr. Peters, I engaged Dr. Peters and Dr. Thomas to do a review, a very quick review of the college system in Dominica. And their report indicated that up until 2002, only 7% of all high school graduates had access to the college, which meant 93% of the students who sat the CXAs did not have access to college in Dominica. And I attended the grammar school, and the year I graduated, 122 of us graduated from the grammar school. And in those days, and I still believe it might be so, I don't show yet, grammar school was one of the top schools in Dominica, and still is. And just to give you an idea of the statistics, only 22 of us made it to the college, out of 122. And only 4 of us got a scholarship to attend the college. Only 4 of us got a scholarship to attend the college at the time. So you can understand, don't even talk about schools like, you know, in Northeast and rural secondary schools. And as I said, as fit to have it, I became the Minister of Education. And I went to the Prime Minister, Pierre Charles at the time, and I said, Prime Minister, we have to address an injustice in Dominica. 2 injustices. One at the secondary school level, where too many of our students never made it to secondary school, not because they were not bright or did not pass the common entrance, but because we knew before you start the exams how many students the school would accept. So we embarked on the universal access to secondary education. And I set myself a goal as Minister of Education in 2002 to achieve USC by 2007. So I gave myself a 5-year goal. And we achieved it in 2005, 2 years in advance, because we front-loaded the investments in creating additional space at the schools. And to create this state college, we had about maybe 20 different committees of people from all walks of life. So we had over 130 people working on different components of the state college and consolidated that. And one of the saddest part of this process, and sometimes people don't see your vision until it becomes a reality. You know, I'm going to Point Michel tomorrow to hand over 10 homes to 10 residents, the homes that we've built after the hurricane, climate resilient homes for the people in Green Valley, in Point Michel. And now everybody's, when we started talking about these homes, people were concerned about, oh boy, you know, these homes and so on, what's Skerrit going to do and so on, about his designs and so on. And now people are seeing the homes, and everybody wants a home now. You know, so I said, you know, there are many Thomases. People follow the Thomas doctrine. I must see it before I believe it, you know. But that's fine with me. But coming back to the college, is that the most depressing thing that in the whole of the Ministry of Education, only one person supported my vision to create a state college. One person, a Mr. Zach Pollock, who I believe should be recognized, you know, in the highest manner nationally for his commitment and dedication. And but I persevered because I know it was something right. It was an effort to address injustice, and I always believe in time people will appreciate the benefit of it. And some of there are many benefits many things the college have done for Dominica in revolutionizing access to tertiary education. Because many of you here, if we had the old system, you would be at your home. You'll be at your home. So I don't want you to take this opportunity for granted because you have it. Because in many parts of the world where countries are richer than us, young people like yourself do not have access to education because they can't afford it. In the United States of America, to attend a community college like this, with a lower level than us, don't get anybody wrong. This college has one of the highest levels in the world. In the world, yes, there will be challenges and there are things that we can always improve. But let us not curse the candle in the darkness because we're looking for a fluorescent bulb. This college has high standards, and all of our students who have sought admission at universities across the world have been admitted based on their matriculation here at the State College. So I want you to appreciate this. But I remember a lady who worked in the public service and in her 40s, resigned her job as a clerical public servant. And she met me and she said, Prime Minister, my dream had always been to be a nurse. And I never had the opportunity to become a nurse. And with the advent of the State College, she resigned her job and became a nurse in her 40s. And that is one of the things that remain in my mind. And even for I see my dear friends from my constituency here, from Penville and so forth here, who are bright students, I can tell you. In the days when I attended the college here, I was the only one, not only from the village of Vegas, but the only one from the entire constituency attending college. Between 1990 and 1992. Only one. So I am happy with the efforts of the college, the president and the staff and the faculty for what you have done. There's a lot more to be done. And one of the things I would like to suggest to you, Mr. president and your chairman and your registrar, is that I am traveling this weekend to go to the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in London. When I return, I would like to meet you at the college. I would like you to document the challenges and the concerns which you have, so I can meet with you along with the Minister for Education and the Permanent Secretary and whoever you want to bring with you to discuss the issues so that we can address them frontally and in a practical manner. But rest assured, the college has in me a strong supporter. And whatever the challenges are, I'm sure we can work together to resolve them. But I will say to the students, one of the things I know that you have a great challenge, especially those of us who come from the rural communities, is the cost of transportation. And I know through your PAL reps, we have been helping some of you. And that will continue. But I would like to make a commitment, Dr. Peters, a commitment of $300,000 that will be transferred to the college to assist students who have challenges in paying their bus fares to come to school. And you can get this money as early as next week, Wednesday, to assist the students as well. And I'm not sure whether the college has a system of a welfare student aid program where students can speak to the school about their own challenges with books and uniforms and transportation, that we can assist them through that situation. But I would like it to be institutionalized within the school system, and that we will provide a grant every year to the college to meet those challenges. Okay, so we give a commitment to you, and we will get the money to you by Wednesday next week, God willing. You see, you always have to say God willing. You know, you must read the book of James. You know, tomorrow is not ours. But in respect to the college, I want to thank the faculty, the staff, the board of directors for your dedication to the students and to our country, because you are in fact working under extreme circumstances. And I think we can only overcome the challenges which were brought upon us by Maria if we have positive attitudes. We cannot just sit and complain. Complaining is not going to solve any problem for you or for any one of us in Dominica. There's a problem, let us identify solutions to them. What can we do to fix it? Because if we work together, we can make life better for all of us. And it must not only be the responsibility of the government, in the narrowest sense of the definition of government, to do those things for us. There are things that we can work together, because we're all the government. We're all the government. In the broadest definition of government. And therefore, we have to do what we need to do by ourselves, with ourselves, for ourselves. And to recognize that if we think life is difficult for us, think of others who may have life much more difficult than us. And I really want to commend all of you for having classes under these circumstances. And learning is something of the mind. You know, if you tell yourself you will learn, you will learn. If you tell yourself you're not going to learn, then you will not learn. And if you tell yourself, no matter what, I'm going to succeed, you will succeed. Okay? So I want to challenge you to continue to be positive. We are committed to fixing the state college. The materials are already on the port. All of the materials required to fix the state college are on the port. You would have heard me say publicly that we have requested the government of Cuba to assist us with skilled people, architects, engineers, tradesmen, because that's one of the challenges we have in Dominica. It is not solely a challenge of money, but it's mainly a challenge of human resources. And this is why I've said to Dominicans, if we think that we alone in Dominica can rebuild Dominica as a result of Maria, we're fooling ourselves. We're going to need to embrace all of the human resources help we can get available to us. Because just for home repairs, as Minister of Finance, I have approved over $32 million to assist homeowners with fixing their homes. But that is delayed because we do not have sufficient tradesmen in the respective communities to fix the homes. And people, we're literally running after people, but they are stretched. And this is why we invited Cuba to provide us with 100 tradesmen. And the idea is to deploy them to different parts of the country to assist homeowners with fixing their homes. But what I would like to do is that when the Cubans land here, is to have them descend on the State College. So I'll be sending about 65 of them to the State College to cover these roofs and to paint as quickly as possible. Once they're done, we'll deploy them to other parts of the country because the college is too important to us and to all of you for us to continue not having the roof over our heads. We have to, as individuals, recognize the importance of education. And there's greater access to opportunities. Notwithstanding Maria and the huge cost of rebuilding this country, we continue to support students who are studying. I have not stopped approving requests for university scholarships and grants. And I have to deal with at least tomorrow, today and tomorrow. I have a stack on my desk high like this, of applications. And we've been assisting our students overseas with additional grants because their parents would have lost their jobs. And we have sent them about 5,000 ECH to help them to buy food and to pay their rent in some cases, in addition to the financial support with tuition that the government is providing to them. But always take advantage, always make good use of the opportunity. I find sometimes some of our students go to the United States and elsewhere and they believe that they're on a line, they're on vacation. And there is a total abandonment as to where the money is going to come from and the sacrifices which the state makes to support them financially. I tell students, I tell people, when I went to study, I did not get $1 of support from the government at the time. And I paid sometimes my fees with credit cards. And I joined the school band. Can anyone of you guess which musical instrument I played in the school band? Huh? Cymbal. Well, my friends, my only role in the school band was to carry the musical instrument. So I had to carry the musical instrument from the storeroom to the bus, and they'll take it down to the football stadium. And when they're done, I have to package them and load them on the bus and take it to the storeroom and so on. And why did I do that? Because I got, by doing that, a $200 grant that went towards my tuition. So it reduced my tuition. You understand? And that's what I did. And I worked. I worked in the cafeteria, where we fed 350 athletes every day. And sometimes myself and one Dominican guy, a guy called Ken Elwin, would cook, would prepare the breakfast. And I would have biscuits in the oven, and I have sausage links, sausage patties, bacon. I have eggs, sometimes I have 2 spatulas using to fry the eggs and so on. And and These big footballers, 350 pounds, would come and say, Roosevelt, I would like a 12-egg omelet. So I have to break 12 eggs and so on. Then they want ham in this, they want bacon in this, they want mushrooms in this, all sorts of things in this. And that's what I did. And when I graduated, and so you would hear people say, oh, Skerrit did not graduate. I decided not to go to the ceremony because I had to make the decision to rent the gong $150 US. I have to go and buy new clothes to go and walk to shake the chancellor's hands to get the certificate. And I'm saying, boy, it's not best I go by JCPenney and buy some clothes. So when I go back to Dominica to teach, I can use those clothes to go and teach. And that's what I did. I skipped the graduation and used a little money instead to go to JCPenney and TJ Maxx to buy clothes to bring down so that when I start teaching in September, because I went back to my old school at PSS to teach, I would have new clothes to go to school. And when I left the school, I owed the school about $900 US. And I took a loan at the Roosevelt Credit Union when I came back to pay the school in order for me to get my final document from the school. And I used these experiences in life, in my new position, to ensure that as far as practically possible, students don't have to go through that struggle I went through myself to earn an education. And this is why so my generosity to people, though I believe that we have a biblical responsibility to help those who are in need, but it's also based on my own personal philosophy and my personal experiences in life, and to ensure that students don't have to go through the same struggle to get to where they need to get to. So you have life much better than how we had it back then. And therefore you need to look within yourself and to encourage yourself so that your talent, your God-given talent and skills can come to the fore to your benefit, to the benefit of your family, and to the benefit of our country, Dominica. Because Dominica needs you. If you are here and you do not take advantage of the opportunity, first you're the first person who's going to suffer the consequences. And then society will start suffering the consequences of your own action. And therefore it's important to be positive. Stay away from drugs. Stay away from alcohol. I don't drink. I don't drink any kind of alcohol. And I do not use any form of drugs. I have never done it, and I will never do it. And sometimes I may go to a party, and you may see me enjoying myself, and you say, well, Skerrit drunk man. A lot of people think, the way they see me enjoying myself in a party, I have one or two. But no, I don't drink at all. And I would encourage you to stay away from this yourselves. It's not beneficial to you. It can only destroy you. Okay? When you get bigger, there's nothing wrong in taking a glass of wine or a drink in moderation. But for now, at your age, in your circumstance, there's no need for that. Okay, so do not be tempted to get, because once you start tasting it and you keep trying it and you become, your body start building resistance to the effects of it in terms of getting drunk and so on. You can take more and you can take a harder one or a stronger one, and that's where there's a cascading of issues and so on. But I don't want to be too long, but I wanted to come to visit you and visit the faculty and staff there. and to indicate to you that we are working on things for you. You're certainly not forgotten, and you will certainly not be forgotten. But efforts are being made we have secured the funding for the college. So the funding is there, the materials are there, the funding to pay the workers are there. Because with the Cubans we're getting, we will be in fact paying them. So it's not a free, so we're in fact paying them. But the company is there, and we will fix the college to your satisfaction. And to ensure that in fixing it back, if we're to be visited by a similar type hurricane, then it won't happen. But before I leave, I just want to speak to you very quickly and briefly on the issue of resilience. When I woke up very early in the morning on September 19th, and I walked through the country, through Roseau and Goodwill and these places, and then I traveled thereafter to different parts of the country. And in our response to Erica, because remember after Erica we told the country that we were going to build back better. And if you look at the interventions which we made as a government after Erica, they stood up to the elements of Maria. So the West Bridge, not even the paint came off on it. The homes we were building in Bellevue-Chopin, everyone stood up. Everyone stood up. Not one house got affected. And in that housing development, we were placing the electrical lines underground, the cable lines underground, so that if that community was up and running, while we would have issues of transmission and distribution, we could easily put a generator there and they would have lights in Dominica. And in the design of the Roosevelt Enhancement Project, and we have all the designs for it, we were going to put all of the electrical lines, all of the cable lines, all the telephone lines underground in underground ducts, so that you would see no poles except the light poles. There were no lines running across Roosevelt. And the construction of the river defense walls and so forth to build back better and with greater resilience. And when I took a decision to go to the United Nations, because I woke up on Thursday morning early. Well, I did not really sleep, but I was up drinking coffee. I decided we have to go to the United Nations. And Dominica's slot was for Saturday morning. And I said we have to go to the United Nations and issue a statement there, let the world know what has happened to Dominica. And at that point, 5 days after the hurricane, to tell you how quickly we were thinking, 5 days after the hurricane, because I addressed the United Nations on the 23rd, we declared to the world that Dominica intends to build the world's first climate resilient nation. And I say to Dominicans that we are getting commitments of help, and we have been getting help from the international and regional communities, not because we were hit by a hurricane, but because of our expressed vision to create a resilient nation. And the world has bought into this vision and this concept. And we will be exposed at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. I even had to turn down speaking engagements in the United Kingdom because people want to hear from us and they want to see how they can help us. And if I were to charge, what 10,000 US for each speech I've given since the hurricane, we'll be very rich in Dominica. But the interest is still there months after the hurricane because of that vision, and people want to help us and people are committed to help us. What is left to us here in Dominica is for us to work together, for us to unite our forces. And this is why, I have decided to bring here Minister Isaac, who has accepted the invitation to be part of this unifying effort to build the country. And he has certain skills and talents, and his ministry, because I don't treat these things casually. And his ministry is no token ministry. His ministry is a serious ministry in the government. Because it speaks to some of the fundamental issues we have to address as a country going forward. And you may very well, in the next few months, lose some of your staff here, because I am seriously engaged in headhunting and identifying skills and talents to bring forth. Because I'm getting old, I am an old man now, we need younger people to take from me, but we're so serious about it. So the whole idea about resilience is about ensuring that if we are hit by a natural disaster, one, we can withstand it better, and if we are hit, we can bounce back faster. And this is what it's about. So we'll be looking at our water systems in Dominica. We'll look at our buildings, so that in these 10 homes in Point Michel, and we have contracted to build 1,000 of those across Dominica. And we have signed contracts to build 400 apartment units in the eastern communities of Dominica. The intention is, so these folks in Point Michel, if Erica were to come tomorrow, God forbid, they can be cooking their food inside their house while Erica passes by, because those houses will withstand a Category 5. So their home become their own hurricane shelter. And that is what 1,000 families will get in the next months ahead, plus the apartments that we'll be building. And this is why you have seen that as Prime Minister, I have taken up the portfolio of Minister for Housing. Because there will be a revolution where housing is concerned, to ensure that every family in Dominica who cannot afford to build one for themselves, the government will fetch the money to do it. And in addition to these interventions, the cabinet has allocated $40 million US from the World Bank to go exclusively to housing, to build homes, additional homes for people, because the intention of the government is to build 5,000 climate resilient homes in Dominica. And we're acquiring the lands in Pong next to the financial center. And we'll be building about 250 apartment units. And let me tell you something. Any first world country, so-called first world country you go to Manhattan and you will see the type of buildings we're building here for the people of Dominica. The same quality in terms of the designs, the aesthetics, and all of the matters to address vulnerabilities. Because we would like to elevate people. Just like in Silver Lake, the people stayed in Silver Lake to see the hurricane through, because the homes were built with that in mind. And these homes were built after Erica. So the people were able to stay in those homes in Silver Lake during the hurricane and saw it through. And there was no damage to any of the buildings at Silver Lake. They had concrete roofs, and the type of windows we used were windows that were sturdy and strong, so hurricane couldn't match them. And in agriculture, we have looked at the type of crops to grow. We have a massive program for agriculture, $25 million from the World Bank, 11 million euros from the European Union for agriculture. Forestry or forest or ecosystems. We have looked at the trees that did better during the hurricane, the trees that were able to bounce back quicker after the hurricane, and these are the trees that we'll be encouraging to plant in our forest and across Dominica to make it more resilient and so forth. So these are the things that we're talking about. Okay? But I must say that you at the State College have demonstrated great resilience, and I commend you on that. But I hope as time goes by, you can come back and be engaged by the student body on these matters, and so we can exchange views and ideas as to how we can work better to build this country. Dominica needs every one of us, irrespective of who you are. But it needs us to be positive. You know, we can criticize. Criticism is fine. But criticism must be how you can get things to near perfection. So if Skerrit says, okay, well, I'm going to build this house, you have the designs, you see the specs, you see the write-up on it, you can't just say, okay, well, those houses are not good. That's not criticism. That's being negative and destructive. But if you say, well, you know, boy, Skerrit, boy, yes, okay, well, I see you build these houses and so on, but you don't think the bedroom should be a bit larger because 8 by 9 may be a little bit tight. You know, could it be an 8 by 11? You know, or you know, did you check the PSI for the blocks that you'll be using? You see what I'm saying? So things like that. You know, or don't you think that we need a retaining wall to hold up the soil and so forth? But when you hear people just criticize things like this, these are not people to listen to. They will not help you grow. They will not help you gain knowledge. You know, they will just bring you down. You have to be positive. And in life, we must always see the cup half full rather than half empty. You know, and we must see things. A vision really is seeing things that are not there yet. You must visualize with vision from a visualization. You must see it in your mind. You must, you know, just like when you want to a dress or jeans, you can see how it's gonna fit you before you even have the dress. You say, that's the kind of dress I want, you know, dress like, you know, and then somebody said, but what are you talking about then? Huh? You understand? But he said, don't worry, when you see it, you will know what I'm talking about. That's what vision is about. So those who catch the vision now, great, but in time, there always be Thomases who want to see and to feel and to touch before they believe. Well, then that's fine, because we can't all be the same people. There was Peter who denied knowing Jesus before the cock crew 3 times, though he was Jesus' right-hand man. And there was Judas who betrayed Jesus. And there is Thomas who wanted to see, though he believed in Christ, but he couldn't believe that a man could die and rise again after 3 days, even if he wasn't Jesus all of the time. You know, so sometimes even people who are close to you don't see your vision until it happens. But let us be optimistic. Today, in my view, is better than yesterday. And how do we make tomorrow better, even better than today? What will be our contribution to this? But recognize that Dominica is yours, Dominica is ours, Dominica is mine to build. And I give you, as your Prime Minister, the firm commitment that we will do everything humanly possible, and with the help of God, to make life better for all of us in Dominica. And build a country that has greater resilience, and all of us can be proud of it. And I also give you a commitment to assure you of your education. I cannot promise you for you to do well. That's a matter for you to do. You have to study, and you must not. And let me tell you, especially a lot of you, sometimes some of you, you know, do not tell your parents lies. Do not tell your parents. You know, some of you dress with your Dominica State College logo, and your mother gives you transport money, and your mother gives you snack money, and you tell your mother, "Mommy, don't forget to top up money too." And then you come, you either stay in town by the KFC building or somewhere in the gardens and so forth, or you come on the blocks, the various blocks there, and you pull up but you have never seen inside the classroom. My friends, I know many of you here, and I know many of your parents, and I know Dominica very well. All of your parents are making a sacrifice or the other to educate you. Be appreciative of that. And the only thank you we as parents want and need from you is to do well. Nothing brings joy to parents when they see you doing well. That's what you have to give to your parents. So do not stress your parents. Do not cause them to get high blood pressure when they do not have it. Be positive and be open with your parents. Because I have seen parents who come to me and they say, well, my daughter is going to school and so forth, and and she wants money for this, money for that. So I say to Sam sometimes, have you seen the transcripts for the term, for the semester? They say, well, the school said they can't give it to her because. I said, look, but if she paid, and even if you owe the school has an obligation based on international best practices to give you an unofficial result. So they will stamp unofficial across it, but they nonetheless will give you access to your information. When you want the official transcript, you have to pay off all the outstanding debts you have to them, And then you tell your parents, oh, I can't get the transcripts, and that teacher, that lecturer, they don't like me, and so on, and sadly, our parents believe us. But when time comes for graduation now, and your neighbor is graduating, and you're not graduating, what are you going to say? So you see, even if I am Prime Minister and I'm very busy, I know these little things, Okay? I know those little things. And so if your parents ask you to get a transcript, maybe they may have spoken to me, and I set them wise. But thank you for listening to me. And stay positive, please. And may God bless you, your families, and our country, Dominica. Thank you very much.